Grief is less of an emotion and more a process. When we lose someone or something that we love, we experience grief. Grief includes many emotions. The Kubler-Ross Model has 5 stages of grief. In this video, we're going to go over the 5 stages of grief and talk about 4 coping strategies if you have experienced grief or loss. The 5 stages of grief are not linear, which means you are not going to experience stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, and so on. It is more of a fluid process that kind of goes back and forth between the different stages fluidly and uniquely for each person. Sometimes you'll even re-experience a stage once you've been through it. So the Kubler-Ross model of the 5 stages of grief include denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. Let's go through each one. During the denial stage of grief, people often feel disbelief about what just happened. You might feel numb or experience a surreal feeling. Thoughts like, "This can't be happening," might fill your head. Denial is often the first stage of grief, and it usually occurs right after the loss has happened. During the anger stage of grief, a person might feel anger feelings towards themselves, others, or even the person that they lost. Resentments towards self and others is common during this stage. Thoughts like, "Why is this happening to me?" happen in this stage. During the bargaining stage, a person may try everything they can to either prevent a loss or get back whatever they have just lost. Valiant efforts to find a cure or to reestablish a relationship occur in this stage. Thoughts like, "I would do anything I can to make this not be real," happen during this stage. Overwhelming sadness is the hallmark of the depression stage. Crying, avoidance, isolation, this may be seen during this stage. The depression stage of grief is often what people think grieving looks like. If this stage lasts for a long period of time or is very intense, it can be a cause for concern. In the acceptance stage, the person has come to accept the fact that the loss has occurred and to realize that they can move forward even if it's difficult. Thoughts such as, "I know it happened, I can't change it, I have to move on," are common in this stage. A person might find themselves angry one day, depressed another day, trying to bargain on a third day. A person may get to a stage of acceptance very quickly following a loss, and then turn around and 6 months later find themselves back in a depressed stage. There is no right way to experience grief or pass through the stages. And while no one experiences grief and loss exactly the same, there are some strategies that can help you cope with your feelings. One strategy is by participating in rituals. Rituals such as memorials, funerals, or other intentional activities to honor the loss. Emotional acceptance. Allow yourself to feel your feelings without stuffing them. Have a good cry, scream out loud, whatever you need to do to get the emotions out. When you can, find a loved one or a professional counselor and talk about your feelings. Share about your loss and how it's affected you. Lastly, write a goodbye letter to the person or thing that you've lost. In the letter, share how this loss has affected you and how you feel about having to go on. While there is no official timeline for grieving, it is important that you process your grief to avoid prolonged suffering or trauma. Should your symptoms be intense and last longer than 3 months, or if your symptoms are mild to moderate and lasting more than 6 months, these might be indicators that it would be a good idea to seek professional help. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you learned a little bit about grief, loss, and how to cope and process. If you're enjoying the content, click on the next video.